Hey guys, it's Robert Gardner with the Robert Gardner Wellness Podcast. I'm lucky to have Charmaine with me here today. I believe her last name is Bond. She goes by Nurse Charms. We had some lovely discussion and a little bit of a internal debate about what to discuss today. And I recommended that we just go live, respond to whatever was pressing on us at the moment, because I don't think this is the last podcast I'm going to do with Charmaine. She is a wonderful professional. She is brash, and she is opinionated.
Definitely that.
So, Charmaine, tell us a little bit about yourself and your practice so that people know who you are. And in addition, also, can you link like your Instagram or wherever you want them to follow you, where they can get information about you?
Yes, absolutely. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in today. I'm sorry that I'm a little distracted. I'm just make sure I share this video so all of my followers can watch. I am Nurse Charms because I am really a nurse. I'm a nurse massage therapist. Okay. I've been a nurse for 17 years and I've been a massage therapist for 7 years. So my whole passion for, health promotion and health prevention and wellness and all those things kind of geared me into the direction of massage. I've always known about massage ever since I've been a little girl. My mother, she would give me massages literally when I was a baby. So I knew about the therapeutic touch of massage. When I became older, I just started, playing around with my friends, massaging their hands or a little shoulder here. People were like, oh, wow, you're good at this. And as I got older and stuff, I realized I was really talented in it. So I branched off from my career at the hospital. I left. That was in 2015. I left and then I just became an entrepreneur and I have a business Gold Standard massage clinic. And I also have a out call massage business. That one's called Massage Pro on the Go. So so here I am right now, 7 years in business as a massage therapist and loving it.
Cool. Is your main income, Charmaine, just so I'm clear, is your main income coming from massage now? You just keep your nurse license active?
No, actually, nurse, but I do contract work. So
okay.
Yeah. So I don't work at the hospital anymore. I left, but I do consulting. I actually get hired as a nurse, and I kind of work in a first responder type role. So kind of like a EM, EMT, so that's pretty fun. I get hired. I go on different, like if there's an event coming to town, they have to have if there's like going to be 5,000 people, 2,000 people, whatever, by regulations, they have to have some type of medical responders on the scene, not just a EMS, like actual, medical people. So that's where I get a lot of my hands-on, practice as a nurse for now. Yeah.
So in the conversations we had before the podcast, we were debating what we wanted to talk about. And I know I can rely on you for this. What's the most pressing issue? What's the thing that you want to discuss that just chaps your ass, or the thing that you just, that grates on you?
I just really get tired of people kind of downplaying the therapeutic nature and necessity of massage. A lot of people really undervalue it as, just something luxury. You have some extra money. It's your birthday. Some friends go to hang out. I really wish that people would look at massage as something you literally need to do at least once a month if you can't do it, every other week. And it's not just to push my business as a massage. It's literally what's going to help you feel better. Massage has so many therapeutic benefits. I personally get massages, so it's like I practice what I preach. I don't have any illnesses, so I really attribute a lot of that to massage, in addition to eating the right things. But I just really want more education to get out there about massage, because when you have people come in here and they're like, oh, they just want to pay you like maybe $40, $30, or just think it's free. It's like, no, yeah. Like I have to be compensated for this. So that's
it's a high level skill. That's an art form.
Right.
And especially in its higher level, incarnation. When you just get out of school, you're still learning how to deliver the service. But if you've worked for any period of time, usually I think therapists who've worked 5+ years, they have a different level of skill just from practice. Then beyond that, I think my complaint would be that the education has to come from massage therapists.
Absolutely.
Massage therapists are not doing enough video. They're not doing podcasts. They're not posting enough on Instagram. Like, the way that the public, not massage therapists, like right now, this is probably going to be viewed first and foremost by massage therapists because of the connections we have in the industry. But
Right.
massage therapists aren't stepping up individually to educate the public about what we do.
Right. Absolutely. And that's important. You and I kind of butt heads about this, but I really want I really want massage to be included in insurance benefits. You get PT benefits, you get mental health benefits. Why not get wellness benefits and have that part of your insurance? Then that way, we can target a group of people, just from insurance, so we don't have to spend so much money in marketing dollars, because now everybody in the world gets it as part of their insurance. So, we can be credentialed through, HAP, Blue Cross, all the major insurance companies. They can begin to credential massage therapists so we can receive more clientele. So
Yeah.
that's another challenge, Mr. A lot of massage therapists.
As long as I can continue running my business and opt out, I don't want a middleman between me and my clients dictating what my services look like. That's why I'm usually, from an entrepreneurial level, trying to get therapists to build their own practices and go their own direction with clients who can afford their services. It's not because I don't necessarily want massage to be covered by insurance. Like, no, I want more people to be able to get massage. And certainly if it was covered by the insurance, people would have a greater likelihood of being able to receive that. The problem is the insurance industry is going to start dictating how that service is delivered. And once massage therapists, much like chiropractors, once they get on the insurance teat, it's really hard to get them off, because the chiropractor's business will almost die because they won't build a cash-based practice because they keep billing insurance, and the insurance companies keep paying less and less and less over time. Does it make sense?
That does make sense. But when they create the laws from the very beginning, we'll be at the no, seriously, we'll be at the table. We're having our lobbyists, go to the state capitol and lobby for us and advocate for us and say, this is how we want it done. This is how we want it written. I mean,
here's the problem. You have to get massage therapists to work together to get a lobbyist.
That's true. But every city should have lobbyists, though. They really should. I mean, we have one here in my hometown, Michigan. I'm presuming that you guys have one as well, right?
I have no idea. I can't deal with the politics in my industry, much less politics on like a larger scale. When it comes to lobbyists, the problem is, chiropractors organized, physical therapists organized, doctors organized. Massage therapists only get the leftovers.
Yeah.
Behind those people, including nurses organized.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a discussion, and it's something that's going to be ongoing because, I mean, there are several therapists who would like to be included, in insurance. And it's definitely a consideration because, the American College of Physicians, they're pushing for it. A lot of doctors out here are recommending massage versus a pain pill. They're recommending alternative therapies before, giving pain medicine. So, physicians are on board with it. Some people in politics are on board with it. So, we have to just look at what the long-term effects will be. I'm always about what's going to benefit the people. Of course, I want to benefit as well, but I think that more people get massage will keep more people healthier, more people live longer, enjoy happiness on this earth.
that I don't disagree with. And in fact, I think the reason why, to some degree, they're allowing chiropractic under insurance billing, why they may allow massage under insurance billing, is they start to understand that if they allow more preventative maintenance,
They have to pay less in benefits.
yes. In other words,
Yeah.
it's benefiting insurance companies because they're making more money because people are complaining less.
Right.
They're not going to the doctor and the ER because they're having elbow pain. They're actually, when it starts, like, trying to find someone to help them with that, whether it be a massage therapist or a chiropractor. I'm very, very cantankerous when it comes to regulation and insurance billing. The main thing is, for instance, I don't want an insurance company to tell me how long my session should be. And here's the thing.
I hear you.
If insurance only allows an hour, the client will only get an hour. That's what my experience has been. Like, you start to troll the bottom as opposed to finding clients entrepreneurially who can pay your services and continue building what I think of as the practice of the future. We're going to take a quick break.
All right.
So even though I can be ornery about regulation, it's not because I'm necessarily anti-insurance. And I'm here with Charmaine Bond. Charmaine, can you introduce yourself again?
I am Charmaine Bond, otherwise known as Nurse Charms. I'm from Michigan. I have my own massage practice here, and I've been a therapist for 7 years.
Nice. So Charmaine and I were going over insurance billing, lobbyists, skirting towards like regulation and how massage therapy is dealt with. Massage therapy, just like nursing, just like medical practice, is regulated state to state. So there's a lot of variant from state to state. So for instance, Charmaine, in Washington state, I'm told, Washington state changed laws to make insurance billing easier to contend with. So schools in Washington state are teaching massage therapists in school how to bill insurance. Now here's the problem. When those students graduate and they start billing insurance, and then year by year, the insurance companies want to pay less and less and less, the students graduate school not knowing how to build their own practice that's cash-based.
Right. That's very important too.
Yeah.
Another thing I think we were talking about is just some of the terminology and some of the myths and superstitions. Yeah, that, like the whole thing with water is not a form of treatment after a massage. What's your whole theory on that? People feel like, because like in the commercial massage places, you have the therapist just kind of, standing there next to the room as soon as the client come out and they got their water ready to give it to you. I mean, that's fine, but you get some therapists just so caught up, like, you want water, you want water, you want water. So what's your whole take on that?
I mean, my assumption is a lot of the behaviors and a lot of the beliefs that I'm seeing in massage therapists as a culture across the United States specifically is coming from their education in school. And I think that in the last 20, 30 years, things have fairly drastically changed as far as our science base and questioning some of the myths that maybe we were taught in school.
Right.
I never really hung with major tenacity to stuff that I was taught in school. And I feel like the science component of what I learned in my core curriculum was very limited. What I did know from clinical experience was that in some form, applying pressure and working on people, I was able to help them with pain. But if you held a gun to my head right now and told me to describe in detail the physical mechanism that causes that, I can't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just that I just want to kind of debunk that whole myth that, yes, water is good. You can drink it any time of the day, and of course it's gonna either replace, dehydration, or it's just gonna, help to maintain the cells, the functioning of biological functioning of our cells. We need water, need a certain percentage of water in our bodies. But if there's really not a correlation that, you must drink water after a massage. So, Yeah. So
I think of it more as a
to
service
release
than
the
just
toxins,
everything.
they're telling
Yeah,
people
no,
to
that's bogus.
yeah, so here, drink some water because it's going to help release the toxins. And you got so many customers like that has just been told forever and ever. So you got so many clients like, let me make sure I get my water because I want these toxins to get out. No, that's what your liver does.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what your kidneys
But
do.
I also take a soft stance. I don't spend a lot of time bickering about what I consider smaller details, even though I consider some people's practices to be based on myths or falsehoods. You know, as long as they're still doing good massage, I kind of take a soft sell in going towards science-based education. I do know this: if you go bash on people and you bash on their beliefs, they feel like it's a bash against them. And
They
as an
take it personal,
educator
right?
yeah, it's like as an educator who's trying to build a following, you know, bring students along, you know, it's more like I would go into those questions and like, hey, let's ask some good. I was a philosophy student. Let's ask why.
Right.
Well, what does that do? You know, that's more my line of thinking, which I think is a bit more soft instead of just saying, well, that's completely atrocious. And let me tell you why. Like people, I think, respond poorly to it. And it's the same thing as Democrats and Republicans. If we
Right.
sit them down and get them over dinner to just sit and talk, not about politics, they
Right.
start to recognize each other's humanity and their connection points, which might lead to some discussion that actually increases change, that
Right.
actually increases, you know, understanding other people's notions.
Right.
It's more like, you know, you writing a blog post and making video about the fact that, hey guys, listen, here's a much better way to deal with the water situation with your clients.
Right.
Then it's like you're giving them something instead of just bashing them with the fact that they're not science based.
Right. Absolutely. You're totally right on that. Another myth is the about deep pressure. You know, some people think that
Uh-oh.
you got to get your
Uh-oh.
elbows, knees in them in order to give a. I mean, you got some clients coming in here like, if you don't put your elbows in me, then I don't want you to give me a massage. You know, is that whole myth like, oh, if it's elbows, if the more it hurts, the better the massage is. I don't know where that correlation came from. That pain equals a better massage. Where did that come from?
I don't know. And again, it's one of these things where I think some of it is culture in massage schools and what therapists are taught. And then also my suspicion is, and I've seen arguments about this, and I assume this is correct. We would ask, where did deep tissue come from? That name, what is
Right.
deep tissue? The best information that I've gotten is that deep tissue came from a spa that figured out that clients wanted deeper pressure.
Right.
And they said, let's call it, oh, do you want the regular massage? Or do you want deep tissue? Because they were charging $10 more an hour for deep tissue.
Exactly. That's the best reason, because all massage is Swedish. Now, unless you're doing something like Thai massage, which everyone knows, like that's your specialty. That's my specialty. You know, or if you're doing something like you know, orthopedic massage or sports massage, then yeah. But all massages generally it's a Swedish massage. You know, the effleurage and you know, petrissage. You know, those basic massage techniques, and then you kind of just pull out different tools, you know, that, you know, not real tools, but, you know, use our massage hands as tools to kind of trigger different areas, you know, different muscles, you know, so that's the thing with that.
Well, I release a lot of content on Instagram and YouTube, and I got a comment from someone on my Instagram, and they said, listen, when you're doing these videos, they're just a minute long, they said, you're always communicating with the client. It's like you're not letting them just rest and relax. Like when I work tissue, you know, I find the dense, tense, tight tissue and I work it, but I don't really verbally communicate with the client.
Either.
But here's the difference. I make my bread and butter, one, as an educator, and two, working with chronic pain. When I'm working on someone's shoulder and they've had a massive issue with their rotator cuff and I'm in their teres, and I slide, hey, do you like this more towards the shoulder or more towards the elbow? I'm trying to key into their nervous system, and in pain relief, in my experience, I get better clinical outcomes communicating verbally with the client about pressure. Because it's not about it. I have tons of tools, right? I mean, I do suspension work, stand on people, tons of pressure in various different ways, including elbows.
Right.
But I'm getting information because I can deliver what most people would think of as deep pressure. I think my work is way beyond deep tissue as far as like its skill is concerned,
Right.
but it's never trying to overwhelm. It's
Right.
just trying to wake up their body and go, listen, this way or this way.
Right.
That framework and changing the word massage on my menu of services, even though I generally am teaching Thai massage, we're attempting to rebrand. And on my menu of services, there's a 3-hour reboot and a 90-minute belly reboot. Those are the two things I offer. I don't even offer massage because if I say massage, they think table cream, glide, and nudity. They're thinking effleurage. The difference is, do you find that you need deep pressure to be able to affect change in clients?
Yeah, yeah. So listen, can I share with you a little situation that happened today?
Yeah.
All right. So I had a client called to book a same day massage, right? We had a little slot open. So I put him in that slot. I actually had to do some rearranging with that. I had to call the client that was at a later time to see if they can push it back a little bit just so I could fit him, smoothly into that slot. Nevertheless, everything worked out. This client particularly knew that he was scheduled with one of the therapists at my spa, but he came to the spa anyways, demanding to have me instead. And this hasn't been the first time. Like I have it on my website. I'm not accepting new clients, right? But people still come and they want me. And I understand I'm the face of my business. Everybody hears about me, but I try to brand the business. I try to brand the therapist because I want them to get some business. So long story short, this client was upset that he couldn't have me. So we had some dialogue. And so he basically left. Now, I feel, and my policy is that he's still responsible for that appointment because that's time. Another therapist could have been placed in that time. Like nothing was wrong. We didn't do anything wrong. He came to the establishment. He decided at that time he didn't want the therapist after he saw her for whatever reason. He wants me instead. That's not how it works. He should be responsible. To this minute, he won't pay. He's like, no, I'm not paying. So, I mean, it is what it is, but I just hate that situation happened. How would you have handled that?
By absolutely not hiring other massage therapists.
I know that's your thing. You work alone.
So, no, and the thing is, it's a legitimate business option, and I understand why many people go the direction you have. How many people do you have on your staff? Like, how many therapists?
4.
4, and then do they specialize in anything specific? Like, is it more deep tissue oriented as a business, or is it more relaxation?
Mostly people come in, for therapeutics. So we have a lot of athletes. We have a lot of people, who come to massage literally for wellness. It's not just like let's go get a massage. They're really coming for pain relief.
When they want to work with you specifically, because you're sort of the face of your business, I understand that. Are they thinking they can't get as good a service with another therapist on your staff?
I'm thinking that's what it is. I'm thinking that they want to come to me because they hear the name, they know the brand. But that's just
here's how I would handle it. I would potentially, I don't know what you charge right now. I would potentially raise your rates astronomically higher than the other staff. And it's not an ego thing. It's just you don't have time. Like you're busy. Like you only have so many hours. When you've run out of time, you have to raise fees. And if you're running specials for the new therapist, it's about getting the new clients to develop a connection, hopefully with a therapist who's going to deliver the kind of pressure that they're looking for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, that's some good advice. And I thought about that. But like you said, I figured that it might create a little dissension because the therapist will like, well, why does she get to make more? I don't know. I wanted it to all seem fair.
It's your business.
Yeah, right. Basically.
Yeah, it's not, to me, it's not, the other therapists can raise their rates to what yours are. They just have to start their own business. And I wouldn't be opposed to raising their rates as well, especially as they're making more. How you handle that as a business owner when you're trying to create, systems that are templates that are repeatable is, I think, more the issue, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're going to take a quick 5-minute break. I say 5 minutes, not 5 minutes. So I'm here with Charmaine Bond, Nurse Charms. We're having a conversation about working with therapists and how to handle, like you're the main focus of your business, and then potentially raising her rates because she doesn't have time. She's booked out with the clients that she's got. How does she encourage new clients to come in and see the other therapists on staff?
Right. So
marketing, video production. It's trying to get the rock stars in your business to do video production on Instagram and YouTube to promote themselves, to build a face for themselves, hopefully within your business.
right. You hit on something. Can we just discuss that really quick? How do we get therapists to have more confidence? Because they don't really teach you that in school in terms of, entrepreneurs, because, you're going through massage school. You can take one of two routes. You can be an entrepreneur or you can go work for somebody. And the people who choose to be an entrepreneur, they always struggle to build their clientele. Like, I know some therapists still 3-4 years out of school and they're still struggling, and it shouldn't be like that,
So is the question how to build confidence in the therapists?
Yes, because, those are the therapists that are charging $40, right? And those are the therapists who are scared to do videos, right? They're, I don't have a Facebook. I don't have social media. That's too much of my business out there.
Yeah, this is where, as an employer, I think you have to educate and train and work with them. I think that some of it just comes from practice, meaning my confidence level went up when I worked with people who were in pain, who experienced relief, and then started rebooking at higher rates because they developed a connection with me, and they said, it wasn't just my personality, but it was like, I cannot get from other therapists what Robert just did to me. Right. That built my confidence as a solo practitioner, even though, let's say 6+ years ago, I worked for 5 years at a chiropractor's office. My confidence level went up another notch whenever I noticed that the chiropractor and the other therapists were referring the problem clients to me. The chronic pain people were being referred to me by the other people in the office. So let's say you have 4 employees, you said?
Yes.
Therapists? Mm-hmm. So let's say one of them focuses on like lower limbs. The other focuses on arms and shoulder pain as a specialty. Like, I really think you should see Jeff. Jeff does great work with shoulders and rotator cuff, if the front desk staff is recommending that. That's giving them an area of expertise, because if they feel like they're going to be a jack of all trades but master of none, it might be having them specialize on specific issues that you see regularly. Does that make sense?
Right. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And I think that every therapist should have confidence. So it's so important to, just, I know it's probably easier to say this, but it's like, know your value, and stick to it. If you know that you have these amazing skills, that you've been told, be confident in that, and carry your brand as that way. I'm, like you said, I'm great at Thai massage, I'm great at hot stone massage or whatever. I'm great at pain relief, whatever you want it to be. I think it's so important to use that confidence in branding yourself. Otherwise, you just get mixed in. Like, massage is a profession where you have to be in it to dominate. If you're not going to be in it to dominate, you're not going to get much business. I mean, that's
I think massage therapists, if I had to guess, when massage therapists hear the word dominate, they'll say, oh, that's just too young for me. It's too aggressive. It's too gruff. It's too Wall Street business, hustle, bustle. I think that, and when I say specialization, I want people to understand that I'm not saying you can't be a great massage therapist and have a wonderful practice that's a general massage practice. But I think specialization, especially in the beginning, might help beginner therapists start to develop a little bit of confidence. So if you're a therapist and you take a carpal tunnel class, and then your business, Charmaine, runs a special and says, hey, if you have carpal tunnel, we'd really like you to come see Cindy. Cindy just took a class. She's specializing in this and getting her training. We're going to give you a small discount to come in because she wants to work on the craft of what she just learned about carpal tunnel, because it's helping, I think, build their confidence instead of just, well, this person had foot pain, this person had arm pain, this person had, I don't think, jack of all trades is what sells. And in fact, Charmaine, I think you're like, the business focus is on you because you're the most public entrepreneurial face of your business. It happens from slowly getting Cindy to make video about carpal tunnel, to talk about carpal tunnel in blog posts, to make YouTube video about carpal tunnel, to take on people who are coming in with that condition. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So go ahead.
Oh, I'm good.
Oh, no, I was just trying to think of some other topics that, pertain to our industry. I'm drawing a blank right now.
Well, we talked about labels. So we talked about deep tissue, deep pressure, but we've also talked about privately about body work, massage, trigger point, myofascial release, kind of modalities and names and sort of jargon in our industry that we feel is sometimes meaningful and sometimes not.
Right. Yeah. I kind of train my therapists, don't get into all those terminologies. Yes, it makes you sound more professional, but at the same time, the clients don't really understand that. It's like you're putting yourself at a level up here and they're right here. Yeah. Do you think it's necessary to use all that, say the specific muscle? People don't really know. I mean, they know basic stuff.
So
they know.
Here's where it changes. I think there's a different conversation when I make a YouTube video for the public,
right?
And I take out an anatomy chart and say, listen, this is your infraspinatus. It's a Latin word, and it means that it's below the spine of the scalp, infrared, below the red on the light spectrum, infraspinatus.
Right.
And I say, it's just a muscle that does this, or, it's part of your rotator cuff. It's learning how to speak the language of the bus driver and speak the language of medical professionals, but really bridging the gap as an educator to say, it's a complex word, but it's just a muscle. It's just a muscle from here to here, a specific muscle. I think it depends on what your target is. If you were a massage therapist who is trying to market your practice towards medical professionals and referrals, the science stuff is good. The Latin is good. If you're talking to the general public, I have a tendency to not talk about modalities. I have a tendency to say, Charmaine, where are you having discomfort or pain? And you say, oh, right up here. And I go, okay, cool. And then I'm engaging about the problem so that I can apply the solution. I don't like when the clients start telling the therapist what tools to use.
Yeah, that's an issue too. But I know sometimes I'll see the therapist and they're speaking these big words, and then the client will just kind of have this puzzled face, like at the end of the massage, they'll be explaining what they did for them, and that they need to come back because this muscle, that muscle, and they're just kind of looking like, okay, like, what are you talking about? And it's like, you want to rebook? No, because I don't really understand what you're talking about. Yeah. I'll give you a call back. And
I think part of the rebooking process, so back to a business point, not just education, if the therapist develops enough skill in shoulder dysfunction to understand, oh, they're having this referred pain that's likely coming from the infraspinatus, if they just take 2 seconds to go over and say, listen, this muscle right here, this is really gnarly. I think, this is before they ever do the session, by the way. If they get good at it, they could do this. I think this muscle right here might be the problem. If this is it, I don't think we're going to clear this in one complete session, but I think I'm going to be able to drastically help you with the pain and mobility. I think if we do another 2 or 3 sessions, the bulk of this will likely go away. Let's go ahead and get started.
Right.
Now, what happened is, if you prepped them by giving education, it blew my mind when I worked at a chiropractor's office. I said something like that to a client one day, And when the session was over, they rebooked and they said, I've never had a massage therapist educate me before.
I know, right? It's amazing. Yeah. And I guess that's where some of my nursing background has made me to be, more solid of a, because I'm used to working with patients. I'm used to all the education and explaining and stuff. And so, it's like I try my best, but at the end of the day, it goes back to comfortability. They just have to be comfortable with that form.
Practice.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Practice. And the people on your staff, what's the average length of their career so far?
About 3 to 8. I've had some people 10 plus, but mostly that's what it is. I try not to take fresh out of school. I did that when I first opened up. It wasn't good business. I didn't get a lot of rebooks because people are just so new and they still were learning and people just didn't want to come back to them.
I think the challenge I would have as a business owner if I were hiring a therapist is I think there's a stark difference between an entrepreneur and an employee. And it's hard to find a therapist who's kind of in the middle, who's willing to build within your business.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I try to make sure we're on the same goals, even before the interview, I let people know what I'm looking for. So I try to be as transparent and clear as possible. So that you're coming into an environment. Well, I don't mind mentoring you, but you're working as an independent contractor and I'm not really here to babysit you because I'm in and out. So I'm not really there all the time with the staff, to really help just be there and keep an eye on them. And I don't even want to do that because I feel like massage therapists should be as independent as possible, unless you're working in a franchise, where it's different. It's a whole different business model.
Well, I mean, if they are working as contractors, creating a situation where they can build within what you're doing by promoting themselves, educating on social media, I think it's stepping stones. And as an educator, here, one of the problems I'm having is how long, you said you worked as a massage therapist now for 7 years?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 7 years. I've been doing massage for 17 and I'm not a nurse, so I don't have that backing. It took a long time to develop enough skill to be able to continue pushing out and feel confident about the fact that I could teach clients little bits of musculoskeletal anatomy to be able to help give some background on the work that we were doing so that it came across as more professional. Right. I think as an educator, trying to break down after 17 years, step 1, step 2, step 3, I'm actually having a challenge with that currently because you almost have to teach at what feels like a grammar school level to be able to give them skills to build.
Yeah.
So when I teach classes, students are asking for sometimes sequences, which I've already made, workbooks, DVDs. Then they're asking for improvisation. And I constantly have to toggle back and forth because I can give them a sequence and they're like, well, no, what do I do for shoulder pain? And I'm like, shoulder pain where? And they're like, front of shoulder, back of shoulder, inside the, it's like, those are completely different things. And they're like, what? It's a little bit like saying I could teach someone to paint by giving them an easel and giving them some paints. And I could do that. I could finger paint. It wouldn't be Picasso. But if I did it every day for 30 years, how do you think it would look 30 years from now?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Just a quick break. And I'm here with Charmaine Bond, Nurse Charms.
Hey.
A relatively calm conversation. We haven't attacked each other yet.
Not yet. I don't think we will.
but practice. I really think the confidence factor comes from practice. I think there's also a reason that core curriculum in most states, I think, often includes sort of clinical trials, which is students working, doing massage on people who come in from the public who aren't in school with them to give them the practice that they're going to need so that when they get out working, likely for someone else, they've had some practice. But how many hours of massage in a clinical way do you have to do to develop real mastery?
Right. Were you asking me or just?
Yeah.
At least 5, to be honest.
Yeah.
At least 5.
Yeah.
And it depends, and it's going to depend on how many clients you're seeing. Now, if you're only getting like maybe, 10 clients a week, it may be longer than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You really need more
I think
clients.
also some people will develop mastery sooner rather than others. It also depends on the sort of work that they're doing. If you're trying to figure out how to do a good Swedish effleurage routine, that might be a quicker learning curve than chronic pain management and problem solving.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm anxious. What do you got? Give me.
Let's think of some advice to give, all the massage therapists out there. This may seem kind of biased, but I guess I would tell people to just kind of follow their gut instinct and just do what feels good, and I guess to kind of qualify that, you get a lot of people just telling you all these things, you can't always listen to that. You just have to do what feels good for you. I mean, that's really it in a nutshell.
Yeah, I'm running a fairly high level business. We're having all kinds of, advertising challenges with our subscription service, doing things we've never done before. Charmaine, I could have a conversation with you. I could have a conversation with Trent and 3 or 4 other colleagues. And they'll all give me 5 different sets of advice.
Right.
And I have to sit back and go, okay, I like this. Let's go this way.
Right.
You're just making best guesses, especially when you don't know, because you're really just testing. I think the same thing happens in your practice when it comes to how the therapists excel. I'll always do this in class, and I understand that therapists don't quite get it. They'll say, well, what do I do in my practice to build? And I'm like, what do you want to do? Because if they want to have a clinical pain management related practice, they have to go that direction. And the reason I ask them what they want to do is whatever's blissful to them, they're going to put more time and energy into this than they would building a relaxation practice if that's not really what they're interested in. Does that make sense?
Yep, absolutely. I forgot to tell you that I also work at Google. I go in weekly. I've been there for 4 years now, and it's really awesome opportunity because, I get to pick their brains a little bit at the same time. I'm giving them all massages and they value it. That's part of their whole culture. They have a whole wellness culture there. They have a place to exercise. They give them free lunch. It's just really nice there. But I'm saying all this to say is that they have a culture of like, how many mistakes did you make? So they encourage it. And the psychology behind this is that whenever you make a mistake, you learn something for it. So it's not so much of a, like penalizing people. It's a culture of helping people to grow. And I guess I kind of adopt that with my business. I'm hard on staff. They know they'll say it to everybody, but at the same time, I offer them I offer them the opportunity. I'm not firing anybody. I don't fire anybody unless it's really, really bad. I offer them the opportunity to be able to grow, learn from the mistakes. I'm teaching you, no, that's not how we do it. What is like you said, what is your rationale? Not just kind of scolding somebody like, okay, so what were you thinking? When you made that decision, let's just talk this through, that type of thing. And then that's when I'm like, no, well, actually, this would have been a better way. So it's like being encouraging, but at the same time, I want people to be free thinkers. I don't want people to, how some of these chains, people are just so scared to do things and say things. And I don't want to have that culture. I want people to be free to make decisions and not feel like, oh, you might get fired.
It's not to me about right or wrong. It's about
right.
And the way you fix rotator cuff issues is by not fixing rotator cuff issues. And the same client comes in and you're like, man, is it subscap instead? Like that process, because we're not mechanics.
Right.
We can't take it apart and reassemble it. That's doctors. What we're dealing with is like trial and error, best case based on information we're given. And we don't have scans, right?
Right.
So I think a lot of it, if they get into a notion of like it's right or wrong, it can be frustrating. No, it's just about growth.
Right.
It's about this continual pursuit of what I would consider perfection, this constant ongoing pressure to better. And one of the things I notice between what I think of as employees and entrepreneurs lean towards this. Entrepreneurs are not as afraid to make mistakes.
Yep. That's very true. Right. And, like when I get maybe a bad complaint, they didn't like the massage for whatever reason, I speak with the therapist, what type of massage did you give them? Did you check in with them to make sure, like, I'm the type of person, I teach my therapists, we're not here to give cookie cutter massages. If we have to literally, work on their shoulder and neck until they feel relief, then stay there. It's not like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Oh my gosh, I went someplace, one of the chains, I'm not giving anybody any business, but they told me that, oh, sorry, somebody walked in my house. Okay, so they told me that, no, I already did 5 minutes on your leg, and I have to spend the rest of the time here because I have to, every area. And I'm going like, what? So like they wouldn't go back over my back, basically. It was just like, we've done the 10 minutes there, we've done the 5 minutes here. We have to stay in this cookie cutter fashion.
So even when I worked in a facility that wanted me to do a general relaxation session, here's what I did. And I was a fix-it guy. They have issues that they don't know they have, and I'm the therapist. And here's what I'm going to do. 45 minutes of that session is going to be a nice, relaxing effleurage. And then when I get to their upper back and neck, I'm going to go, ooh, what's this right here? And I'm going to educate them. And when they get done and realize how much better their neck feels and how much better their upper back feels, they go, wow, I didn't even know that was a problem.
Right.
Because the therapists themselves within your business, they have to expand the parameters for what our work can be.
That's very true.
Do consumers, and I don't know, I don't work at a spa, so I don't know what, I'm kind of, I only get the pulse of the massage industry within like Facebook groups because I don't work in these facilities. Do consumers even know that they can go in and just get upper back and neck work for an hour?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, absolutely at my business, because I book most of the massage appointments. And so, I kind of tell people what to expect up front. And then we also have, one of those intake forms. So kind of says on there, what are you here for today? So it kind of gets you focusing on, okay, we want to make sure, because I'm all about getting results. I'm not here just to take somebody's money. I want you to feel 100% better. I don't want you coming here like, man, I still got this pain. So no, we're going to get you some results as long as you come into our business. So let's focus on why you're here. And so let's make sure that we take care of this issue before you leave. If we were unable to fully treat you, then definitely gonna have you come back, because some things, like you said, some things we can fully treat, some things we can't. Most things we can't, because depending on how long they've been having that pain, you've been having this neck shoulder pain for 15 years, you just decide to get your first massage. We don't work magic tricks.
Yeah. We can do a lot, especially with practice, but it is something that bodies need maintenance. And I think that goes back to the conversation you were having with insurance and healthcare. There's a lot of prevention.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good discussion so far, huh?
Yeah, I think so. I really think there's a lot of room within the industry for people to go ahead and continue growing. And Trent, I can't see it. There's too much light on it. Okay. Whenever businesses like yours, smaller businesses, I think if you start to think in terms of competition with larger markets, being able to get individual therapists to start dealing with social media production, education, that can completely outstrip what larger companies can do as far as education is concerned.
Yep.
It gives you an advantage, in other words,
Mm-hmm.
as a small business.
Yeah. I mean, being an entrepreneur, I mean, I just like the freedom, freedom to make my own policies and rules, because I don't agree with a lot of things that go on in the chain. So
What?
that's probably what really drove me to form my own business, you know.
What did you not like? What is the policy you don't like?
I mean, it's just, you got to work a certain amount of weekends. I mean, you got to work a certain amount of hours period. You don't get paid enough. I mean, you can't call your clients. I've never worked for a chain. You know, I just basically came out and started working for myself, but I will always hear these stories and I'm like, I don't want to work a place like that. You know, you're forced to upsell, you know, all those different things. So I don't have any of that. I made sure that my business model, it was not like any of that. So I let therapists, you can work as much as you want or as least as you want. Of course, you're going to make more money if you work more, but you don't have to work a certain amount of weekends. I mean, it just all works out. Like, people, you could come and go when you want. You make your own break. It's like, and that's why all of the therapists who work for me, they've loved it, because they just feel so much freedom. So it's like they're their own entrepreneur, even though they're technically working, you know, physically at my business. So I kind of make it an entrepreneurial model, because with me, you know, mentoring and teaching them, you know, I developed them to eventually go on and create their own businesses. And then people look at it like, well, that's crazy. Why would you, you know, be having people come in? Because I'm different from the, you know, the chains. I'm not trying to keep people here 100 years. You know, if somebody feels like it's time for them to go out on their own, then go ahead. I want to be a part of that person achieving their dreams. I'm not here to keep people captive, you know, just so the business can earn money. So
I think part of the issue with people's notion of competition is the pie is only so big.
Yeah.
Difference is we just bake more pies.
Absolutely. Yep. And then it goes back to dominating, you know, so I don't really worry about, because I feel like I'm in my own lane. For one, you know, I have 17 years of nursing experience that I'm bringing into my 7 years of massage experience. You know, people come to me because they're, you know, they like my skills, they like my personality and whatever else they like. So I don't ever worry about competition. So
yeah, the competition game,
just
especially
how it
we do,
it's worked out for me, you know, still.
How many people with any regularity in the United States, what percentage of the American populace gets a massage regularly?
Oh, I don't have that data. Do you have it?
No.
Oh,
but let's say it's 10%, which I think is probably not likely. I don't know if it'd be a little higher or a little lower. The problem is therapists think they're fighting over that 10% instead of going and educating and marketing the other 90%.
Oh, yeah, I got you. I see what your point. Yeah, there's hundreds and hundreds. Like, you know, if you look on Google AdWords and you can see all these people, you know, there's hundreds and hundreds literally of people searching massage keywords, literally 500, 1,000 people a day. You don't have to worry about competition. The people are out there. They're just trying to find where to come, you know. So you present yourself well, you market yourself well, you're going to get those people. You're going to be successful.
A colleague and I were having a conversation about some collaboration, and his wife said, well, you know, what about competition? And I said, what?
Right.
Like, Tim, there's 1.6 million people in the greater Austin area. We could work 24 hours a day and we could make a dent.
Right. Not to cover all the people.
There is no competition.
Yeah, that's another myth. That's another myth that massage therapists think. And, you know, one of my clients told me today that they were going to a massage therapist before they found me, and they end up dropping that therapist because they said she got mad and was just like so furious because the person went to somebody else. I'm like, well, why did you tell her? What was your goal with that?
I would tell the clients. I've had a client come in and say it. Hey, I had a session with so-and-so, and they'll say it kind of timidly. And I'm like, we're not monogamous. It's okay. We're, you know.
Right. I know. So he basically did that to her, and she was furious. And he told me that she didn't even give him the same massage that day. He could just tell that it was just like a, you know, massage. And he said he never went back to her. So there she burnt the hole with that, just trying to be jealous and, you know, protective. I don't understand why therapists feel the need to get upset because a client goes to somebody else. As long as they come back to you, or even if they don't, there's going to be more clients coming. Trust.
So, Charmaine, it was great talking with you today. Can you just give people your contact information one last time so they can find you?
Absolutely. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, Nurse Charms, all across the board. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, Nurse Charms.
Listen, Charmaine, I'd love to have you on the program again soon so we can chat more. Now that we've had this first one, we know each other a little bit better. We can figure out things that we'd like to discuss if you'd like to be on the podcast.
All right. Sounds good. You guys have an amazing day. Thanks, everyone, for watching.
Yeah, thank you all so much, and we'll see you again soon for Robert Gardner Wellness Podcast.